And with that, nice shot of our landscape. Welcome back to yet another, and this time actually last episode of Krenia. And because today is the last episode, we are going to take a look at this world. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm in a backup because, yeah, the server is finished, it's over, it's closed, and I'm on a backup right now, so I'm technically able to do anything. But yeah, this is basically what I managed to do. For example, I finished a little bit of the mountain back there, just so that it doesn't just cut off, and also I made a big forest back there. So yeah, I'm gonna show you all the things that we did over this era of Krenia and also what the other guys did. And I'm not just gonna fly there in creative mode, I'm actually just gonna take a firework rocket and fly over there. Just like we're used to on this server. But we're actually not gonna start at our village, but rather at the other guys' places. For example, we're gonna go right next to here to Berthold Space, which is kind of down here, partially. We have this little place here. But then he made this up there, his beautiful UFO. And there was a big tube here which we removed, and instead I built him a nice little elevator up there, so that there's a cleaner and less intrusive way up there. The only problem is that it takes quite a while. So I'm just gonna fly there. There we go. And up here we're in the UFO, and then there's some bubbles up here where you can go. Apparently a nice little living room area. And then a couple of little places for, first of all, his pet, I guess. And also all the other stuff that you need. And yeah, Berthold wasn't that much online, but for the time he was, I think that's actually not too bad. And now that we could go out again, there should be the elevator coming up right there. Perfect. And of course, I made it so that it simply automatically goes down as well once it's up after a couple of seconds. It should technically go down any moment now. There we go. And yeah, to get down, you just have to get through here and try not to hit the edge of this water pool. But yeah, that's Berthold Space, and technically there were a couple of houses over here, which Winnie then kind of renovated over here. Plan was to redo this island, and I think now it just fits the village that we have going on a little better, because we have a fitting road, a fitting house, another little farm. Well, not farm, but actually field. And yeah, that would then partially be Winnies Space. He also has a little cave in our portal mountain right here. And if you remember, we died trying to hollow it out. This here is the big cave that is under the mountain. But if you go down here, there's a really big hole that we try to blow out. Actually, it's not even that big, but whatever. And yeah, here somewhere I lost all my items to a creeper exploding and then causing all the TNT to explode, and with me right in the middle of it, which kind of hurt. But yeah, we have this part, and that is one of Winnies' spaces. Yes, I said one of his many. Because this over there technically counts as his latest base, then this is the second latest, but then also he had one in the end. I'm only gonna have to find it somewhere in here, which probably isn't even going to be that easy, considering that Winnie cleared all of this space out, and I don't know which of these end gateways we have to go to. I'm just gonna try out a couple of them, and then we should be able to find it. Okay, that's not the one. Okay, that's also not the one, but I think it's very close to the other one. Yeah, that's the one where I was just before. Apparently somebody tried to build something here as well. Nope, also not this one. Okay, there we finally go. I nearly thought he took it down, but yeah, here we are. This is his floating end base. I think I helped him with the middle part a little bit. A clock going crazy, but yeah, we have this nice base, and I think it looks pretty cool. I think he moved on after this one, but yeah, I think that's actually a pretty cool idea. Yeah. Apparently he tried to expand it as well, but then probably moved on. So yeah, that's Winnie's second base in total. So let me try to find the one where he used to be at the start, the beginning. And it's all the way over in this direction. There we go. I think this was it. Right. I think there should be a village somewhere close. Yep. That's it. He used to call this his home, and yeah, then he moved on. So in total he seemed to have 4 bases, at least 4 that I know of. And yeah, I think that's, I guess, a pretty big amount of bases. At the very start, we used to have some other people online as well. For example, Raze, who did, in my opinion, have a pretty good idea of what a cool looking base is. And he started doing it, but then didn't really finish it. But I think it would have been amazing if we could have seen this being completed. I mean, look at it. It, in my opinion, looks pretty cool. Similar idea to what I've been doing to just transform the whole area, but of course in the desert instead of the plains. Then we have the end portal with a couple of elevators to go up and down very easily. And yeah, that, in my opinion, got decorated very nicely as well. Bed here, just to be sure. But yeah, now we're back at the end. And down here, we have something pretty interesting. Because Alex and Schattenwolf did a pretty big project down here, which they sadly also didn't really complete. But as far as I can tell, it does look pretty cool. We have like a club or a resort down here, and I think if you remember, we did make a statue here. Right in the middle, with a little bit of lava on some rocks. And I think this was supposed to be an aquarium. And down here, of course, a little whirlpool, because you just need it. And back here, I think, another bath. Ooh. With a window to infinity. Cool. And of course, a sauna. But yeah, that's the end base. Let's get to the Enderman farm down here, which I did plan on eventually redoing and making it more safe. But yeah, by the way, I've turned the difficulty to peaceful to just not get annoyed by mobs all the time. And yeah, this is the place where we always enchanted and repaired our stuff. But let's quickly get over to some other people's bases. For example, Alex's base, which in my opinion is one of the coolest ones. It's right over at this portal, so technically very close. And he also did a village, and it's actually pretty big. He has built a tall wall just to keep monsters out and stuff. If we go inside, I think it just looks pretty amazing. It's probably safer than my base, and in my opinion, it's just peaceful. It just seems kind of like a sanctuary. And the houses that he built are also impressively good. and there's a lot of different styles of houses, a lot of different buildings in general, and I'm honestly pretty impressed because also the interior is basically always completely filled in and decorated. And if I remember right, this down here was his last building. A little barn where he just did a couple of villager stuff things down here, and a little bit of storage, and apparently some, let's say, not so legal stuff. But well, you know, gotta make some money sometimes. But yeah, this is Alex's base, and I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty amazing and pretty impressive. The library, we're just not going to talk about that. So now, let's move on to the shopping area. Back there, you can see a couple of buildings, the port that Winnie started to build, and I don't really know how many houses it even is that I built. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 houses of my, let's say, city street. With all of my shops that, as good as never sold anything. Little Details had a couple of orders that we just cancelled, as I said earlier, and all the things inside didn't sell that much because I didn't really have the time to even stock it up completely. But this shop here, the architecture and construction store, well, actually office, that did do a couple of things. Because we built a event for Winnie. I'm of course going to show it later. But first of all, I'm going to show you all the stores. We have Little Details, the architecture office, interior designing, Marcel's hairstyling, then the bookshop and the gym. And most of those things are basically just for decoration and just because it's cool, you know? And the best showcase of just because is the poker table down in the back of the interior shop, which is actually fully functioning. It's a fully functioning stat poker. You have to press a button and a statistic just gets popped in here, and then you can place your rounds, and over here you can tell if you need to have the highest or the lowest score to win. For example here, coal or mind. It would go in stats and stuff like that, and yeah, pretty fun. But yeah, let's visit some events. Back behind the end portal, we have another little portal that leads us to Winnie's Quiz event, where we built a little something for Winnie, and this is basically the Quizmaster house. I kind of oriented myself to build this at some kind of an office with a waiting room, and then here, Quizmaster office itself, where Winnie stood, and then we have a couple of details, yeah. Technically, that's also from Little Details. Printer, in my opinion, actually looks pretty realistic. But yeah, the funny thing is that down below, there's a little secret. Because down here, we played, first of all, a little billiard table, just fun. But also, we had somewhat of a Russian roulette. Because if you didn't know, if you just simply turn yourself and keep turning, you're just gonna get faster and faster on a boat on ice. So if that gave you a headache, but yeah, that's just basically what we did. And if a bow just shoots and you get it, then you're basically done. So yeah, that's Winnie's event, and I think you were able to get out in this house over here. Yep. This event actually took place all the way back in episode 9, and now already at episode 30. Just another showcase of how fast time flies by. Speaking of events and old times, all the way back in episode 6, we ourselves made an Easter event. And over here we have nice Easter cave. With all the eggs down here, with all the different points and stuff like that. And yeah, I built a nice little custom birch tree up there. And if we go down into the cave, then, to be honest, it's pretty chaotic, but I think that just adds to the bunny style. Because honestly, how organized can a bunny even be? Especially in Easter time when everything is hectic and you need to get all those eggs out. But yeah, there's some Easter Island heads, just because the word Easter is in them. Then of course, big Easter eggs, of course small Easter eggs, a lot of flowers and a lot of other details. And yeah, we just hid all of the eggs in here and the other guys had to search for them. And yeah, it was pretty fun. Good times in episode 6. And to be honest, I nearly forgot about the most important event of this era. The escape room event, which of course took most of the time and most of the attention of about a couple of months, I guess. And here we are, at the escape room event, with one segment per player. Here we have Winnie's, Alex's, Schattenwolf's, Berthold's, mine and Levi's. Of course I can't really show you everything that fast. And yeah, the community segment where we just put something in from everybody, where we eventually... Okay, I need a bucket for that. There we go. Where we have this bit. Our cave, where we had to throw in our items that we found. And then we got some special items out of that. And I think this project was pretty fun. It was a pretty nice event, and I'm very glad we did this project. But yeah, as far as I can tell, that is the last project that we did, and now we can finally look at our own base. So, first of all, we have a beautiful little shepherd's house. This was our starter home where we just started off this whole series. I eventually added a little overhang with a wagon to keep everything stored in there after we had a pretty big, let's say, chest monster right in front of our house. Then I started building this incredibly huge, well, actually, it's just pretty big, it's not huge, this wheat field. And then, bit by bit, I expanded all the things. We had this windmill, then this sheep field, or sheep pen, and of course the tree. This is the second tree that is standing here. First one, let's say, got removed. And yeah, now it's raining. 1 second. But yeah, also this bottle right here, which was one of the other first buildings I put in this place. And yeah, this place just expanded and expanded, and that was the plan. Also, our nice and magical enchantment table all the way over here, which I might have forgotten a couple of pumpkins from Halloween in here. But yeah, this place is also a nice little detail. Next to the portal, we of course had this bridge, which I think I built in the 3rd episode already. So this is also a very, very early part of this map. Of course, a couple of changes were made over time. For example, I have expanded this bit a little bit more, and we now have this forest that is only made out of normal trees, normal vanilla trees, but at least there is something over here now. The bridge is of course connecting this part of the whole village to the technically inner part of the village. And yes, before I explain what has happened here, I'm gonna show you the 2 houses that are actually standing. First of all, the big family house, I guess, that's how I called it. It's, of course, completely decorated inside, but I'm not gonna show you all of it. If you want to see it, there is episode of it, episode 16 to be exact, as well as for the crane house here. This one is also 100% completed and filled in, and has a crane, that's why it's called the crane house. Then a very, very expensive statue on top of a fountain. We even made a special skin for this, and I think it just looks pretty cool. Now on to, let's say, the backstory of this village. Of course, main problem was time. But in-game, you know what, I'm just gonna act as if this is a pretty ruined little village that got just destroyed over time, and not many people are living here anymore, except for in those two houses and the other houses and buildings all over the place. So yeah, I just made a couple of ruined houses and just told myself that it's enough. So yeah, I think at least it looks completed now. Before there were just some blueprints with grey wool, just like here. So yeah, I think this is a better solution than just leaving it blank. Moving on to the mountain, which is technically not finished because I wanted to make a little mine shaft in here where the villagers would go, but I'm actually pretty proud of this huge mountain, this huge chunk of stone and grass, even though I also didn't get finished with this one. I mean, this series is pretty inspired by Hermitcraft, so yeah, you sometimes copy a little bit more than you want from it, for example, like not doing the back of things. But whatever, you know. So yeah, I think this does look pretty cool and it's a pretty completed base. I might do a video where I'm trying to do all of the things in creative mode eventually, but we'll have to see. And if you remember episode, I think it was 11, we had a tiny little war with Berthold concerning our pets, because I kind of kidnapped his llama named Joe Llama, and then that escalated into a little, let's say, war, where he then basically stole our Jeb, our sheep that was somewhere in this field, I think. Only gonna have to get down below this area. I don't have any tools on me right now, so I'm just gonna go all the way below here. And never mind, there's no entrance in here. I'm just gonna go get my tools. Oh yeah, by the way, I put all of my things in this barrel at the door before making the backups, so yeah, everything I have is in there. But let's get down below in here, and now I can show you where our dear little Jab friend is. If I remember right, I need to go in here, and I just realized I need a pickaxe. Okay, there we go. So I only need to look out for the diorite that is like where you can go completely inside and then dig straight through here. Then a nice little entrance, and if we go here, and we have our dear friend Jab just chilling and being happy down here. But yeah, I think he was mostly safe in here. At least he is still alive, so I count that as a win. But yeah, that is the whole world as far as I can remember. I'm not going to show you the safe place that I went to in the last episode, but yes, Leaf, of course, he's chilling right in front of our house. And yeah, today, the day that I'm recording this, is actually a couple of days after the last day on Krenia. Mostly because of time and stuff. God dang it, how much does it want to rain? There we go, okay. You know what? No rain anymore. Okay, there we go. So, on the last day of the server, I invited all the other guys onto the server again to jump in a call and to just simply hang out a little bit for the last time for this era. So I'm gonna show you a couple of clips and explain what we did then. First of all, this little swing. First of all, I had to expand this swing, well, because 4 people don't fit on it. So all it took was a second floor. And once we were on that swing, I made a couple of nice and wholesome little screenshots. I personally think that they do look pretty cool, and I'm actually using it as wallpaper on my desktop. If you want to get that wallpaper screenshot as well, just tell me in the comments and I will send you a Google Drive link. But yeah, I think those look pretty epic and represent a symbol of the end, I feel like. At least the end of this Krenia era, of course. Of course, a meeting like that doesn't really just happen without anybody dying or being killed, so of course there were a couple of casualties, but honestly, that's just what we've gotten used to. Then, because it was Easter, of course, I wanted to give them a couple of Easter eggs, and, well, they just got destroyed immediately after, but, well, things happen. So yeah, after that we just moved on to playing a little bit of stat poker at the shopping area. And we spent a couple of hours just having fun and playing the game. And then after we've basically said our goodbyes to, first of all, this era of the server, and also to each other. And then, for example, I finished a couple of things with my mountain so that it doesn't just cut off, and just a few details to make everything a little bit more completed. For example, also the little ruins back there. But yeah, I think that this was a pretty nice and pretty cool era of the server. And to give you a couple of informations, there will be a second era of this project, but only in a couple of months, so at some point after 1.19 has been released. But anyways, I personally have a couple of more things to do in real life, so I'm not going to be able to make as many videos for now. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. So if you did, you could of course leave a like and subscribe, but otherwise I think we're gonna see each other in a couple of weeks or months. But yeah, I hope you're gonna have a great spring, and I hope that we're gonna see each other in the next video. So with that, as always, goodbye for now and have a good one.